because I've got hair. How about that? Donald Trump. So she's worked with Donald Trump. She's worked with Philippe Stark. She's worked with J-Jag. She's worked with some Starkitects that I can't really pronounce their names, and I'm not even going to try. I'm going to leave that to Marguerite. So she's had tons and tons of experience, and like I said, you know, Alan likes to tease us that we're the high heels and he's the muddy boots, but to be honest with you, to have a good development, like a good marriage, you need both. So I'm going to hand you over to her.
Not my Wellington boots. So I've spent a lot of my real estate career working with fabulous Starkitects like Richard Meyer, the Donald Trumps with their bad hairdos, the U Group, Stark, and I've had a lot of experience, predominantly in the United States, with branded marketing. Now, it's always a bit frightening meeting at groups like you, because when you mention branding and marketing, investors and business people tend to say, so what? So I'm going to spend just the next 5 minutes telling you some figures and some insight into the importance of branding and marketing. So what? Well, actually a lot of dollars, that is. Successful brand and marketing strategies in residential and mixed-use development projects have proven to bring in millions and millions of additional profit. Branding has been less significant in recent major bull markets. Property just seems to have been selling itself. The bull market's been so strong, developers come in, build something, people are buying. You may have noticed, a bit of a credit crunch going on. It's not happening anymore. This is a time for developers to become more visionary, to think about marketing and to really develop strong, unique selling points. I think, you know, times when they're difficult brings out major visionaries. It's not just the play developers that come along, it's the really important ones that stand out. Case in point, the Empire State Building was built in the last Depression. It was completed in 1931. So the proof is in the power of branded marketing in real estate can be demonstrated in three kind of rough sectors. I'm going to take you through three of those. First of all is the developer brand, the Donald Trump. I met Donald Trump at the beginning of 2003. I had an interesting assignment to change him from a brash New Yorker into a more conservative gentleman as he was venturing into the Chicago market. It's far more conservative than New York. Trump Chicago, top left, was a great success, and my advertising agency won the account for the Trump Corporation. From there I got to work on many Trump projects, both in America and abroad, and I learned a lot from the Donald. He was a great first teacher. In next month's Tatler magazine, they do have a property section. They've got a section on Trump, and they talk about Trump Soho, which is the bottom right-hand corner picture. At Trump Soho, they have estimated that just adding the Trump name to that property has increased prices by a whopping 50%. I saw some eyebrows raising, caught your attention. Trump has now got a licensing business around the world where he licenses out the Trump name to no-name developers, so developers can really harness that Trump brand name and go in no-name developer but look like they're a big power player like Donald Trump. Second area that really brings a lot of value to residential real estate is the hotel and spa industry. I've worked with so many different groups, from Starwood, Mandarin Oriental, Andre Ballage's group, and I wanted to use the Mandarin Oriental. I mean, there are many players in this category, and again, as Elise alludes to, you've got to get the right hotel brand for your development. But this is a great example, especially for you investment teams out there. I was lucky enough to work on Related's billion-dollar gross development value development in New York, the Time Warner Center. I don't know whether any of you know it or have seen it. Basically sits on Central Park West in the south corner. Two residential blocks that sit on a Westfield type shopping center. The North Tower was branded with the Mandarin Oriental Hotel to brand the residences and the rooms and the amenities. In the Southern Tower, there was a whole host of amenities, but they weren't branded. The difference in pricing, so you can look at the pricing from the North Tower to the South Tower, were, I mean, the most perfect example for economists to look at. The North Tower consistently sold at 30% increases to the South Tower. And in one resale case, 2 years after this development was completed, one apartment achieved a 70% premium on a similar apartment sold in the South Tower. So it's pretty significant value. I was privy to these numbers. I was doing some due diligence for Rianta Capital, who were looking at putting in some funding to the Delis Key project in Turks and Caicos. So unfortunately, these figures are not within the public domain. But that's a nice segue onto Delis Key. It's another sexy example of value branding. And this is an example of the great Starkitects. I don't know whether you've heard the name Starkitects, but it comes from architects who've kind of made household names. The Delis Key project went all out. These developers went all out to brand this development. They signed an operating contract with the Mandarin Oriental. And they also hired 6 Starkitects to create these incredible homes. Zaha Hadid, Piero Lissoni, Shigeru Ban are among the host of this kind of collection of world-renowned designers. So this is kind of moving on from the plain vanilla colonial type